We're covering the cost of damaged overpasses, why the city of Saskatoon may never be repaid. Saskatchewan's income support for disability under the microscope, why critics say the cash is not enough to cover life's basics. And a longtime Saskatoon musician leaves his career on a high note.
This is CTV News with Chantel Saunders.
Good evening. We begin tonight with the aftermath of the Saskatoon overpasses that have been damaged in recent weeks. Police have now laid charges against the drivers. And as Keenan Sorokon reports, the city is still looking at ways to recover the cost of having to fix the structures.
Saskatoon is more like the city of wounded bridges these days. In 3 weeks, 4 overpasses hit by semis hauling oversized loads and a fire inside the University Bridge have added up to nearly $900,000 in repair costs.
We've recognized this trend and we're all frustrated with the trend.
Thursday afternoon, Saskatoon Police and Saskatchewan Highway Patrol issued their punishment with a combined 20 charges to 3 drivers over 4 separate incidents. All of the drivers didn't follow their permit, some failed inspections, had vehicle defects, or exceeded allowable weight, height, or width limits.
As this keeps happening, so they just assume we're doing something wrong, even though people are hitting a brick wall that's literally been in the same spot for 50 years.
What's not included in these estimates is 2 new crashes on Sunday at the CPCK rail bridge near Attridge and the McKercher overpass, hit by the same driver who drove away but was found in Martensville by RCMP. And if the headache of coordinating repairs, traffic disruptions, and assisting with police investigations wasn't enough, the city is trying to figure out how to get reimbursed for the sudden spike in damage.
We do everything we can to get full cost recovery, but I can't guarantee that in every instance we have been able to achieve full cost recovery.
The province has a maximum fine of $200 for damaging public infrastructure for first-time offenses, as opposed to city bylaw fines of $10,000 to a person or $20,000 to a corporation. So the city is working with Highway Patrol to impose the stiffer bylaw penalty for one of the drivers. The city's only other options are going to court or going the insurance route.
And I don't know if anybody's experience of dealing with insurance companies goes as well as ours, but sometimes they are not amenable to paying the full cost of the claim,
which can take a lot of time and leave taxpayers on the hook. Keenan Sorokon, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Concern is being raised tonight about the Saskatchewan Assured Income for Disability program. Critics and advocates say the money isn't keeping up with the cost of living. But as Stacey Hine reports, the province says the program has kept up at a higher pace than inflation.
You have to pick and choose what you're going to pay for.
Wendy McCallum says Saskatchewan Assured Income for Disability payments aren't enough to cover her basic needs, and says right now she has nowhere to live.
Your basic allowance has to go towards the rent, otherwise you're not going to have anywhere to live, and then you're left hungry.
Colette Warlow with Prairie Underdog Advocacy says many said recipients are in the same situation. She says she's currently supporting someone with a disability who can't afford food or rent.
It's frustrating watching people with all these disabilities and anybody on said that cannot be supported properly.
NDP MLA Brittany Sanger says people in major centres receive roughly $1,100 a month, while the average one-bedroom apartment in Saskatoon is $1,200.
We need to ensure that everybody in Saskatchewan can afford to live. This is affecting the most vulnerable population. It doesn't even cover the cost of rent.
In a statement to CTV News, the provincial government says it has both started the SED program and increased income assistance benefits at a rate higher than inflation, adding since 2009, monthly benefits have increased 70% for SED clients, higher than the 45% increase in the Saskatchewan Consumer Price Index over the same period of time. It also says there is no set maximum monthly benefit, and it depends on individual needs. The benefit is set to increase by 2% starting in May, but some say it's still not enough to keep up with the cost of living.
It needs to increase because you can't survive out there.
Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Refurbishing Saskatchewan's coal-fired power plants could cost significantly more than originally estimated. Last summer, SaskPower announced plans to extend the life of plants near Estevan and Coronach by 25 years. But as Wayne Mantika tells us, the latest cost estimate may have increased by hundreds of millions of dollars.
Saskatchewan's 6 coal-fired power generating units at Shand, Boundary Dam and Poplar River were mandated to be shut down by 2029. SaskPower has decided to extend their life to 2050 through refurbishment. Last year's announcement came with a cost estimate of $900 million. The NDP say that has risen by $700 million, according to a SaskPower submission to the rate review panel.
We learn that their plan for electricity is going to cost another $700 million more. I would say that the budget deficit just doubled, just like people's power bills will under this government's reckless plan.
The government is considering long-term options like small modular reactors or a large-scale nuclear power plant. However, an SMR would take at least a decade to bring online. Coal will provide a bridge until then.
We've talked about the investments that are going to be made into the transition to nuclear power. We're making investments as well into life extending our existing thermal assets. There are rate pressures because of the investments that we're making. We believe that it's reasonable with regard to that path forward for SaskPower, that these are investments that need to be made and we're going to make them.
SaskPower is seeking a 3.9% rate increase for this year and a further 3.9% for next year. The rate review panel has yet to grant approval. The Crown Corporation says is to pay for capital projects, including revitalization of coal-fired power plants. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
Well, Jeff, it was another cool day today and a few flurries still falling.
A few flurries still falling and a cold start to the day. Not that it really warmed up big time, but it's certainly warmer now than it was earlier today. But temperatures way below seasonal. And even though we get a bit of a bump in temperatures tomorrow, there's going to be a real dividing line in the province, you know. Guess what? It's basically along the Yellowhead. North of the Yellowhead, temperatures will be colder than seasonal, but warmer temperatures in southern Saskatchewan. We're still keeping our eye on this system that continues to move eastward, getting out of the province, but another system is coming through, and we may bring some flurries to other parts of the province that will have to deal with some snow. We'll talk about that later on.
An investigation has been launched into the escape of an inmate who may have impersonated another offender at Saskatchewan Penitentiary. On February 20th, Keaston Custer, who was serving a 10-year sentence for manslaughter and other offenses, escaped from the pen. An internal review suspects Custer may have pretended to be another inmate with the same last name who was scheduled to be released that day. The Correctional Service of Canada says it is working with the National Board of Investigation to look into this case and review what happened. Custer was arrested by Prince Albert Police on March 4th, has been placed at a heightened security level, and is facing additional charges related to his escape. A disciplinary investigation is also underway, and the employees involved in the release are on administrative leave pending the results of the investigation. Highway 7 near Harris was closed earlier today following a serious crash. RCMP say it happened just west of Harris. The highway was closed to allow emergency crews to work at the scene, and detours were put into place. No other details have been released at this time. One person was sent to hospital after being attacked in the Pleasant Hill neighborhood. Police were called just before midnight to the 400 block of Avenue S South for a person who had been assaulted with a bladed weapon at a nearby home. The victim was taken to hospital with multiple injuries described as non-life-threatening. Police don't know if the victim and the suspect knew each other. After almost a decade, the Prince Albert Grand Council is completing a study on how to best implement First Nations policing in the far north. Jasmine Pelche on the findings and the next steps.
All the 12 nations across Prince Albert Grand Council has an issue with policing.
Prince Albert Grand Council hosted a symposium to discuss the proposed development of a Prince Albert Grand Council police service.
We're wrapping up the study, and the end of the month is our deadline. So we have the report that's been endorsed by the chiefs of the Grand Council,
Vice Chief Joseph Desani says that while the proposed policing model may take more than a decade to set up, the Grand Council is laying the groundwork and has been conducting a study to examine what a regional police service would look like in regard to funding and operations.
The potential implications of this decision are being evaluated with significant due diligence, which is incredible to see because what is coming out of it is a sense of desire for self-determination.
The Grand Council says some of its northern communities are an hour from the nearest RCMP detachment.
It takes a while to connect to RCMP because you have to phone the main office in Regina. It's not a local number. And then they have to wait till they get the service they want. And by the time they reach to that certain crime, whatever, it's too late.
Community leaders say that First Nations policing could help with situational awareness, language barriers, and response times, along with providing a career path for youth in the Grand Council's member nations.
If there's a need, I expect the RCMP to step up and be there. If the RCMP needs us, then we'll be there to support us. So not to fight over jurisdiction, but to have that common goal to make our community safe.
The Grand Council still has a lot of work ahead, including further discussions with the provincial and federal governments, and has committed to engage with involved communities before moving forward. Jasmine Pelche, CTV News, Prince Albert.
An historic surgery has been performed at Saskatoon's Royal University Hospital. A surgical team at RUH performed their first robotic epilepsy surgery on Monday using the newly installed robotic stereotactic assistance equipment known as ROSA. ROSA is a specialized robotic system that helps map out the brain to assist surgeons in pinpointing exactly where patients are experiencing seizures. The goal is to help healthcare professionals make better decisions for patients who previously could not be fully assessed in Saskatchewan and ultimately result in better treatment options. ROSA was purchased through a $1.2 million fundraising campaign by RUH Foundation, which included a donation of $700,000 from the Belcher family. ROSA has been named Erin in honor of Merlis Belcher's granddaughter. A longtime musician at a Saskatoon care home is calling it a career. And as Laura Woodward reports, his impact goes far beyond the music.
I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine.
Residents at Sherbrooke Community Centre are saying goodbye to Wes Froese. After nearly 20 years as Sherbrooke's musician and recreational coordinator, Froese is retiring.
Wes is great. He just makes people feel good.
Froese knows everybody by name.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Delita.
A small gesture that strikes a big chord.
Every time I come by, he always waves and says, Brenda. And I love it. And I'm really, really gonna miss him.
More than the music, it's the way he makes people feel. Tracy LaRocque remembers when Froese took the time to learn her favorite song.
Little boy shooting arrows in the blue. I asked him to play Little Arrows, but he didn't know how. And 2 days later, he came with his guitar, and I'm in the hallway, and he played it for me. And it was just, I just started crying.
You dressed up as Dolly Parton.
A couple times, yes.
From Dolly Parton to Snow White, Froese says there's purpose behind the playfulness.
My job is to combat boredom because it can really hurt people. So boredom is counteracted by spontaneity. So we do spontaneous things. We dress up funny. We show up in the hallway.
And it's that spontaneity, that joy, that will be missed most.
Wes, we love ya.
I get by with little help from my friends.
Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
The mayor found herself in a bit of a pickle today.
1, 2.
Cynthia Block was on hand to cut a giant pickle, which officially celebrated new basketball hoops at a Cole Victoria school. The hoops are thanks to some fundraising efforts by the Nutana Pickles Club. The club started 5 years ago when a group of kindergarten and grade 1 students wanted to play the game. But when they couldn't reach the hoops, they set off to raise some money to buy 6 new adjustable hoops that can be easily lowered and raised as needed. The club started with 15 kids and now has 104 pickle players from kindergarten to grade 6. Still to come, the impact of rising gas prices. Also, we hear from the CEO of Air Canada following criticism he faced earlier this week. You're watching CTV News live from downtown Saskatoon. Thanks for staying with us. For the first time since the Cold War, Canada has hit its target of spending 2% of gross domestic product on defense, an increase which is expected to transform our armed forces. The benchmark, which was set by NATO, amounts to more than $60 billion a year. CTV's Judy Trin now on the spending milestone and what got us there.
After touring a warship, the Prime Minister announced that Canada had taken aim at a NATO target and hit its mark.
In 10 months, we have invested over $60 billion in our defense and security. And as a result of these efforts this morning, NATO confirmed that Canada has achieved its 2% defense expenditure target.
Getting from 1% to 2% has taken 12 years. Progress has been slow until Carney's investment surge in 2025. For the first time, all 32 NATO members have reached the 2% target.
For too long, European allies and Canada were over-reliant on U.S. military might.
The 2% pledge was first made in 2014. Conservative Prime Minister Stephen Harper didn't want to do it.
I'm certainly not going to spend on a massive military expansion just for the sake of doing so.
Under former Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, Canada was called out on the international stage.
Talk about riding on America's coattails. They have the safety and security of being on our border.
Movement didn't happen until the biggest player in the alliance uttered threats.
And they said, if you don't pay your bills, we're not going to participate, we're not going to protect you.
Canada may have spent more than $60 billion on defense in 2025, but the military is still short about 15,000 soldiers, and from jets to ships to submarines, half of the equipment isn't working.
We are still waiting for new submarines. We are still waiting for new tanks and other armored vehicles for our Army. And we are still a long way from having new warships.
The overall readiness, the ability of the military to actually conduct a military operation or go to war is at a multi-generational low point right now.
Going forward, Canada and other NATO members are committing to spending 5% of GDP on defense by 2035. For Canada, that means spending $150 billion annually. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
The bodies of the 2 Air Canada pilots who were killed in last weekend's runway collision in New York made their way home today. Mourners gathered on the tarmac at Newark Liberty International Airport in New Jersey for a dignified transfer back to Canada. Pilot Antoine Fourier and First Officer Mackenzie Gunther died when their plane collided with a fire truck that was crossing the runway Sunday night. The truck was responding to an issue with another flight. Meanwhile, Air Canada's CEO has apologized after facing criticism over his message of condolence earlier this week. Michael Rousseau used only 2 words in French in that message, bonjour and merci. Today, he reiterated his condolences and said, quote, as President and Chief Executive Officer of Air Canada, it is my duty to support those affected by this tragedy. I am deeply saddened that my inability to speak French has diverted attention from the profound grief of the families and the great resilience of Air Canada's employees who have demonstrated outstanding professionalism despite the events of the past few days. Rousseau has been summoned to testify at the House of Commons Official Languages Committee. Canada could play a role in helping ships move freely through the Strait of Hormuz if there's a ceasefire in the Middle East. Prime Minister Carney says there are ongoing conversations with some NATO allies about Canada joining an effort to restore the movement of vessels. Iran blockaded the crucial waterway in retaliation for U.S. and Israeli attacks. Last week, Ottawa expressed a willingness to contribute to reopening the strait. Meanwhile, Donald Trump has extended his deadline for Tehran to open the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. president says he will now wait 10 days until April 6th before destroying Iranian energy plants. Trump insists ceasefire talks are going very well, and the request to extend the date came from the Iranians. With an end to the war still very much in question, oil prices surged again today. Since the start of the conflict, the price of diesel has increased more than 40%. That jump is hitting the trucking industry hard, with consumers set to pay the price. With more on that, here is John Venavali-Rao.
For truckers across the country, as they pump pricey diesel into their trucks, the numbers are numbing to look at.
Diesel prices are going very high. It's like huge difference.
At Toronto-based CSA Transportation, they move all sorts of products from clothes to health supplements from its terminals to cities across the country and into the U.S.
Yep, these are all going to be filled up.
The VP of Operations, Rebecca Herbsch, showed us some of the trailers ready to be loaded. And with the price of diesel surging, she says the trucking companies they partner with have been charging them a lot more.
They want to raise their rates. They want a fuel surcharge. Some of them are charging 40, 50, 60, 70. We even saw 80% fuel surcharge one day.
Herbsch says after holding off, her company raised its freight rates on Monday, though hasn't yet passed on the full costs of rising fuel to customers. Still, she says if the war continues and diesel stays high, consumers will soon see the result when items hit store shelves.
It means that the cost of products is going to go up. The more that vendors have to pay us to move their goods, especially cross-border, the more that we're going to be paying for goods.
And for those truckers who pay their own fuel bills, the soaring price is hitting hard. The cost to fill up a truck like this that holds about 1,000 liters of diesel has gone up around $700 since the start of the war. Benny Puri owns 4 trucks and says his fuel costs have gone up around $4,000 a month.
Need to have prices down, man. Just give us a break.
He says his credit cards are getting maxed and wants to see governments cut taxes on diesel.
We're driving trucks. We're providing food. I work for Walmart, right? My company works for Walmart, and we deliver up north, right? So, I mean, we are struggling 24/7. If they can give us some discount on that, some relief on that, that would be great.
With those in the trucking business worried fuel prices will go even higher and warning it will show up in just about everything. John Venavali-Rao, CTV News, Toronto.
Health officials in Newfoundland are warning of the risks of extreme workouts after a spike in hospitalizations from a rare and potentially life-threatening condition that occurs when muscle tissue is damaged, releasing harmful proteins into the blood. As CTV's Garrett Berry reports, there have been 20 cases in the eastern part of the province since October.
With just weeks to go, 27-year-old Kyra Fancy should be focusing on her July wedding. But recent warnings of sudden increases in rhabdomyolysis cases
It was a traumatic experience, to say the least.
have brought back awful memories.
When I got off the bike, actually, I fell to the floor. My legs buckled beneath me.
Her first spin class, December 2023, trying to blow off some exam season stress. She had been introduced to everybody by the instructors and didn't want to fall behind.
I was embarrassed and I was like, I can't stop. So I just forced myself because I was like, the worst thing that could happen is I'm just going to tear my muscles, you know.
What followed? 5 days of intense pain. When the pain didn't go away and she did go to the hospital, she stayed there for almost a week.
I was in utter shock because I literally did a spin class and I couldn't understand how that led to me possibly like dying, is how he was saying it.
This kind of exercise-induced rhabdomyolysis is what doctors are seeing more and more in Newfoundland and Labrador. And health officials say the majority of those recent cases have been found in young women.
It's absolutely avoidable. Yeah, it shouldn't happen. And all the research that leads to rhabdo in the fitness scene usually leads to finding a look at that programming and how it was delivered.
Spin classes have been put under the microscope since the health warning was issued. Jill Whalen, coach and owner of Elevate Movement Club, says classes can and should be delivered safely with trained coaches.
The reason why, for example, this room for spin is laid out the way it is so that the coach can make contact with every single individual in the room. And we went through months and months of training before we ever opened our doors.
She says both coaches and participants should be doing more to ensure everybody is safe. Garrett Berry, CTV News, St. John's.
I'm Terry O'Flanagan.
I'm Sean Dancy. Michael Flanagan.
We're part of the Lenvale Elevators. We're coming in Saturday night to play at the Long Branch Extravaganza. Say, Jeff, what's the weather going to be like?
Well, guys, it's going to be a bit on the cool side. Yes, you saw 60% there of the Lenvale Elevators, but there are other bands on the program that night, including Gong Show, and so yes, that's going on Saturday. So let's check our numbers. So daytime high of just -5 degrees, but by showtime you'll be indoors and nice and warm, enjoying some rock and or roll and other forms of music. Mainly cloudy conditions that day, and once again, if you want more information on that, you can go to the Ramada's website and go to the links to take you to the Long Branch. All right, now let's take a look and see what we've got going on with our current temperatures. -12 degrees in Saskatoon and in the Battlefords, but a lot more in the way of sunshine in the Battlefords. It's not warming things up, but there's more sunshine. -11 degrees in Prince Albert, and the wind has started to back off in Saskatoon, still on the moderate side in Prince Albert and the Battlefords. So Saskatoon's daytime high, that's our current temperature, -12 degrees. 3 is typical, so 15 degrees below seasonal. The record warm temperature on this date, 1946. We hit 19 degrees, -33. The cold temperature record on this date, 1894 and 1965. The sun came up at 4 minutes before 7, and it's going to go down at 7:30.
Coming up, a powerful endeavor for a Saskatchewan woman. The record she's breaking, one barbell at a time.
Morning Saskatchewan. Puck drops on the WHL playoffs Friday night. How Saskatchewan teams are preparing for their matchups. It all starts at 6.
All right, let's take a look at the live lens of Skycam. Well, not a lot of clouds out there right now. Still on the cool side, cold, shall I say, and it was a cold start to the day, and the wind was strong as well. So the wind has backed off. We're not dealing with any more flurries right now. It looks like that's wrapped up. So as we make our way forward, things are going to bump up a little bit tomorrow. Right now, we're sort of on the edge of the cold air and the warmer air, so we'll keep our eye on that. But right now, there's that system continuing to move eastward, but there is a secondary system that's brewing up in Alberta again, and that could slide across into Saskatchewan. So we'll keep our eye on all of that. If your plans are taking you out to the west coast, it could be okay for a couple of days, but then Sunday it looks like there's some moisture showing up. It's either going to be rain or snow for many parts of BC. So let's take a look and see what we've got going on right now. Just to recap, -12 in Saskatoon and the Battlefords, -11 in Prince Albert. Our hotspot, well, that was Estevan at -4. Yesterday, the hotspots were Coronach and Val-Marie at -15, so rather +15, so a lot colder today. Uranium City, the cold spot at -33. Around the province we go. Currently, it is -11 degrees in Lloydminster and Regina, -12 in Swift Current, -13 in Yorkton, -6 in Estevan. Into central Saskatchewan and parts of the northern grain belt, a fairly large group of these temperatures hanging around that -12 degree mark. Just a bit warmer in Kindersley and Rosetown at -10 degrees. Up north, well, temperatures do drop off in some respects, but not big time. Still cool, though. -16 in Stony Rapids and Key Lake. It's -11 in South End and Sandy Bay Island Falls. Down south, no one on the plus side on this part of our map. The warmest it gets on this part of our map, that's -6 down in the extreme southeastern corner there at Carlisle. It does cool off to -13 in Melville, -11 in Outlook, -11 as well in East End, -10 in Maple Creek. And now on to our futurecast. Here we go. As you can see, there goes that system sort of ringing itself out, sliding through Manitoba. But there's that another system starting to show up in parts of Alberta and slipping into parts of northern Saskatchewan. so we'll wait and see if that turns into something substantive. So tomorrow we've got cloudy or mainly cloudy skies in northern Saskatchewan. Temperatures hovering around that -8 or -9 degree mark. A little warmer on the minus side still, though, for Meadow Lake and Spiritwood, but on the plus side for Kindersley and Rosetown, 3 for Kindersley, 2 for Rosetown, and a mainly sunny skies. Mainly sunny conditions in the southwest with temperatures on the plus side for these 4 communities. 7 degrees the expected high in Maple Creek, -7 in Yorkton, but temperatures of around 2 degrees under sunny skies in Regina, Moose Jaw, and Estevan. And into east central Saskatchewan, temperatures in the minus single digits with a mix of sky conditions. -4 for a high in Watrous, -8 in Melfort, -6 in Hudson Bay, -7 in Humboldt. Dropping down to -23 in the Battlefords tonight with some light snow, a little bit of clearing, and a risk of frostbite. I know we're not done with that yet. -3 degrees tomorrow, and then we've got ourselves -4 on Saturday and Sunday, -6 on Monday, and Monday we might see some snow, less than 5 centimeters, but still some snow to deal with. And then for Prince Albert, -24 degrees overnight, a risk of frostbite, the snow tapering off, -7 tomorrow with mainly cloudy skies, -4 on Saturday, -3 on Sunday, and Monday to start the work week, -4 degrees and maybe 2 to 4 centimeters of snow or thereabouts, and the temperatures don't really warm up Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. Saskatoon, -21 with a light snow tapering off, clearing skies, but then the clouds come back in tomorrow afternoon, -3 degrees, a bit breezy in the afternoon, and then we've got ourselves -4 on Saturday and Sunday and -6 on Monday. And Saskatoon right now, the computer models, at least one of them is showing 5 to 10 centimeters of snow expected. Saskatoon Soaps Improv Comedy is getting into a medieval mess with a merry band of soaps, wizards and minstrels and mead. Friday, 8 o'clock at the Broadway Theatre.
White lightning.
Friday night, the Brothers G will be live on stage at the Capitol Music Club. The following night, the Capitol welcomes the Grapes of Wrath acoustic duo. Canadian cellist Stéphane Tétrault is the featured artist as the Saskatoon Symphony presents Night Seasons. Saturday evening, the Basement welcomes the Martin Yanofsky Orchestra, featuring Trevor Wingirter. The Broadway Theatre is screening a couple of classic Godzilla movies on Sunday afternoon.
There's the tiniest bit of nuance needed here.
Seen here in rehearsal, Witches in Salem is a satirical response to Arthur Miller's famous play, The Crucible. Witches in Salem runs from April 2nd to 5th at Studio 914.
The Chinese expression Hao Chi means, wow, what delicious food.
Hao Chi takes a deep dive into a quirky Saskatoon television commercial which continues to generate interest long after it stopped airing in the late 90s. This documentary is screening at the Broadway on April 2nd.
Whoa! I totally didn't even hear you come in.
25th Street Theatre's What If is currently on a provincial school tour, but 2 public performances are set for April 3rd and 4th in Saskatoon at the Nutrien Wonder Hub. The Dragons Car Show returns to Prairieland Park April 3rd and 4th. The show benefits Camp Easter Seal.
All right, Jeff, time for Pick of the Day. What did you pick?
Well, we have 3 as per usual. We're going to start off with this one, a lovely sunset here. This comes to us from Jean in the Battlefords, or North Battleford. Don't think I ever sent this. Always intended to. Taken from the 4th floor at Caleb Village. Enjoy. And we do enjoy. So thank you, Jean. We appreciate that. Jalen Mack sends us this, and Jalen says, my cat Cheeto outside while it was snowing. I hope you let Cheeto in. All right. And finally, from Jen, hi, CTV. I hope it's not too late for Pick of the Day because it is my best friend's birthday. She's 42 and we've been friends since high school and I love her so much. Happy birthday, Dawn, and happy birthday from us here at CTV as well, Dawn. I hope you're having a great day. And if you'd like to send us an image, you can do so by sending it to cfqcnews@ctv.ca, and please put Pick of the Day in the subject line, or you can scan the QR code to get that picture to us.
Still to come on CTV News, a record-setting story. We meet a powerful Saskatchewan woman lifting the standard. A Moose Jaw woman in her late 60s is setting records in the sport of powerlifting. She recently lifted 140 kilograms or 308 pounds on the bench press. Sierra D'Souza Butts has her uplifting story.
Maeva Bridges' interest in powerlifting goes as far back as the 1970s.
I started watching a movie called Pumping Iron, and it really sparked some sort of flame in me, and I really wanted to get into lifting weights.
When moving to Moose Jaw around that same time, Bridges built up the courage to try some weights of her own.
The floors were separate. The women were on one floor and men were on another floor. So I asked if I could go up to the men's floor, which the owner, Dave Pyle, said, absolutely, give it a trial.
Shortly after, Bridges participated in her first meet, winning the Western Canadians in 1983. She then took a break to raise her children and continue her life, but found her way back under the barbell 34 years later, now powerlifting at 68 years old.
There are days where I figure I can't do anything. I feel like I'm going to break. I've had a bad day. I've been in pain all day. I walk out of here moving better. My joints feel good. I feel good, and I'm so proud of myself that I did it again.
A power couple close to Bridges has been by her side since she returned to the sport in the last decade.
The benefits of strength training for females is so widely researched right now, and it's so beneficial. So just seeing her keep moving as she does age is definitely a motivation for me.
So it's really a roof right here.
Oh, yeah. Recently competing at the Canadian Powerlifting National Championship, Bridges set 2 new records, one for hoisting a 140-kilogram barbell.
She competed at nationals recently and set the national total record by a small margin, but still, and set the bench record by a good margin. So still making good progress, even with the injuries she's been struggling with. But yeah, she's doing great.
As for what's next, Bridges will be pumping iron at provincials in September. Beyond that, one of her goals is to break some world records. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
When we come back, a big night for the Riders, and later the special reading that was a day-long affair.
Okay, time for the rural forecast. And yes, temperatures will be staying below seasonal as we roll into Friday. Some places, though, it is going to be warming up. And as I mentioned earlier on, it's as it often is, sort of this line of demarcation is the Yellowhead Highway. So it's not scientific. It's not, it doesn't happen in the sense that it's like it's an absolute. But look at this, 3 degrees in Kindersley, 1 in Outlook. And then we get into minus temperatures as we make our way above or north of the Yellowhead. And as you can see, minus 6 degrees in Hudson Bay, minus 8 in Melfort, minus 6 as well in Wynyard. Making our way down south, a lot more in the way of plus temperatures. That starts to drop off as we head towards the eastern side of the border, but mainly sunny skies, warmer temperatures. I can't say warmer than seasonal because they should be warm down south. 1 degree in Lumsden and Pilot Butte, and then temperatures on the minus side towards the eastern border, and minus 8 in Kenora. What do we expect in Siemens? Well, we're looking at minus 5 degrees, partly cloudy skies or partly sunny skies. Winds out of the southwest 10, but then they shift around ever so slightly. Southeasterly winds in the afternoon at 15 kilometers an hour. And Siemens is the place where internet plans of up to 1 gig are available from SaskTel.
It was a big night for the Saskatchewan Roughriders in Edmonton, receiving multiple awards at Coach of the Year celebrations. Riders head coach Corey Mace beat Montreal's Jason Moss for the Anis Stukas Award. Mace led the Riders to the best record in the CFL at 12-6, going on to win the franchise's 5th Grey Cup. He is the 8th Saskatchewan Roughriders to win Coach of the Year and the first since 2018. The Riders also won the first ever Ted Gavaya Football Operations Award, an honor that takes into account scouting, player identification, roster building, and leadership. A boost today for pediatric and maternal research in Saskatchewan. The Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation has carved a check for $1.5 million that will go toward the University of Regina's Child Trauma Research Center. The center is a research hub that focuses on studying and mitigating the long-term health, social, and economic impacts of childhood trauma. The research then helps to develop policies that aim to improve the lives of children and youth.
We're going to continue our growth in terms of supporting public safety, children and youth. We're going to continue and grow our work with educators and mental health and well-being in schools. We're also going to continue our looking at the generational impacts of trauma in the perinatal period. So all those things get grown with the addition of those two other research areas.
The money announced today is from the Jim Pattison Children's Hospital Foundation Provincial Maternal and Pediatric Research Fund. The University of Regina is the first to receive funding from it. Uranium mining company Paladin Canada was in Saskatoon today touting its Patterson Lake South project in the Athabasca Basin. The project in northwestern Saskatchewan got approval from the Saskatchewan government for its environmental impact statement last month. The province says the mine will create more than 300 direct jobs and hundreds of additional positions throughout the local economy. The Patterson Lake South mine site is about 150 kilometers north of La Loche.
We have a pretty shallow mine. We start encountering ore at about 50 meters below the surface, run down to about 300 meters. We got an ore body that we look at our reserves. We have a clear 10 years out in front of us once we start producing.
After the approval from the provincial government last month, the Patterson Lake mine is on track to start producing in 2031. We heard from the Bank of Canada today about the higher price of oil. Morella Fernandez has more on that.
The Bank of Canada says that higher oil prices will push up inflation in the near term. Senior Deputy Governor Carolyn Rogers says it is the bank's priority to guard against the higher price of oil inflating the price of other goods and services. She adds that it's too early to assess the impacts of the oil price on Canada's growth, but it can boost income for energy exporters but squeeze consumers. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.17. West Texas Intermediate is up over $4 to 94.48. Western Canadian Select, however, is down to 74.33, and the TSX lost almost 500 points today. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
Turning to local gas prices now, the average price in Saskatoon just over $1.73 a litre. The lowest price in town is up to $1.64.9. On Saskatchewan markets, Cameco dropped $5.62 and Nutrien finished the day at $102.03. Coming up, the read-along that ran the clock. And saving a famous dinosaur from extinction.
Select Hair Service is brought to you by Sage, the beauty bar.
Stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here tonight on CTV.
Watch out for those exploding banjos.
No, you can't wait. Well, a masterpiece by English poet John Milton entered a new chapter today. Faculty, students, staff, and members of the public gathered at the University of Regina today for a stage reading of Milton's masterpiece, Paradise Lost. All 12 books of the epic 17th century poem that tells the biblical story of Adam and Eve's expulsion from the Garden of Eden and Satan's temptation were read. The 12 hours of reading began at 8 this morning, so they've got another at least hour to go. That's a long day of reading. But a neat experience. It's been going on since the mid-90s.
Exactly, and thank goodness there's some limericks thrown in. Milton knew the value of a good joke here and there.
All right, before we go, a beloved tourist attraction in central Alberta has been saved from extinction. An engineering report on Tyra the T-Rex says the Drumheller attraction is safe, stable, and ready to welcome visitors. The report says some repairs are still needed, costing about $154,000. Ongoing maintenance costs will be needed. The Drumheller Chamber of Commerce was going to dismantle the dinosaur in 2029, but public outcry led to the structural assessment. The Chamber says it welcomes funded proposals about how to keep Tyra from reaching extinction beyond 2029. They could do some fundraisers.
That is great to hear. That is wonderful news.
There you go.
Yep.
Tyra lives to see a few more years.
Yeah, it looks that way. Cool. We've got ourselves, in terms of a day, it's like it's been changing all the time. Tomorrow's forecast. So let's take a look at what we expect now. And this has changed in the last few hours. Looks like we're getting a lot more sunshine tomorrow, but it won't be enough to warm things up to seasonal values. -16 at 9 a.m., -11 by noon. Mid-afternoon, probably around -3 degrees, and then -6 by 5 o'clock.
And a wee bit windy.
A wee bit windy.
Thanks for watching.